The Persian Wars refers to battles between Greece and Persia in the 5th century BCE. Some of the most famous and significant battles in history were fought during the Wars of Marathon, Thermopylae, Salamis, and Plataea. The Greco-Persian Wars were a critical time in ancient history in which Greek city-states attempted to stop the expansion of the superpower that was the Persian Empire. In 559 BCE, Cyrus the Great established the Achaemenid dynasty and immediately set about expanding his domain. The Kingdom of Lydia, which had subjugated Greek city-states on the Ionian coast, the coastline of western Turkey today, fell to Cyrus II in 546 BCE, and in the following years, the Greek city-states of Asia Minor were subjugated by the Achaemenids. During the reign of Darius I, the Achaemenid Empire expanded even further, while bureaucracy and the military were improved. With massive resources and manpower, the Achaemenid Empire is considered by many historians to be the world's first superpower. Origins of the wars. Persia, under the rule of Darius R. 522 to 486 BCE, was already expanding into mainland Europe and had subjugated Ionia, Thrace, and Macedonia by the beginning of the 5th century BCE. Next in King Darius' sights were Athens and the rest of Greece. The reason that Greece was interesting for Persians could be wealth and resources, and the need to increase the prestige of the king at home. Whatever the exact motives, in 491 BCE Darius once again sent diplomats to call for the Greek submission to Persian rule. But Athens put the diplomats on trial and had them executed, and Athens and Sparta promised to form an alliance for the defense of Greece. Darius' response to this diplomatic outrage was to launch a naval force of 600 ships and 25,000 men to attack the Cyclades and Euboea, leaving the Persians just one step away from the rest of Greece. Marathon. Darius did not lead the invasion of Greece in person, but put his general Datis, in charge of his cosmopolitan army. Second in command was Artaphernes, Darius' nephew, who perhaps led the 2,000-strong Persian cavalry. The total strength of the Persian army was perhaps 90,000 men. The Greeks were led by either Miltiades or Callimachus, and they commanded a total force of only between 10,000 and 20,000. The long-range assault tactics of the Persian archers was to come up against the heavy-foot soldiers of Greek soldiers with their large round shields, spears, and swords, and organized in a solid line or phalanx where each man's shield protected both himself and his neighbor in a wall of bronze. When the two armies clashed on the plain of Marathon in September 490 BC, the Persian tactic of rapidly firing vast numbers of arrows into the enemy must have been an awesome sight, but the lightness of the arrows meant that they were largely ineffective against the bronze-armored soldiers. At close quarters, the Greeks narrowed their center and extended their flanks to cover the enemy lines. This and their longer spears, heavier swords, better armor, and rigid discipline of the phalanx formation meant that the Greek soldiers won a great victory against the odds. It's interesting to know that the modern marathon race originated from Pheidippides, an Athenian runner who ran from the Battle of Marathon to Athens in 490 BC to announce this Greek victory, a distance of about 25 miles. According to tradition, 6,400 Persians were dead, for only 192 Greeks. Victory dedications and statues were erected and, for the Greeks, the Battle of Marathon quickly became the stuff of legend. Meanwhile, the Persian fleet retreated back to Asia, but they would be back, and next time, in even bigger numbers. Thermopylae. Within a decade, King Xerxes, Kashayar Shah, continued his predecessor Darius' vision, and in 480 BC, he gathered a huge invasion force to attack Greece again, this time via the pass at Thermopylae on the east coast. In August 480 BC, a small band of Greeks, led by Spartan king Leonidas, held the pass for 3 days, but were killed to a man. At the same time, the Greek fleet managed to hold off the Persians at the indecisive naval battle at Artemisium. Together, these battles bought Greece time and allowed for its cities to steel themselves for the bigger challenges yet to come. Salamis. The defeat at Thermopylae, though glorious, allowed the Persians to make inroads into Greece. Consequently, many states now turned over to the Persians, and Athens itself was plundered. In response, a Greek army led by Leonidas' brother Cleombrotus began to build a defensive wall near Corinth, but winter stopped the land campaign. The next vital engagement was going to be at sea. In September 480 BC at Salamis in the Saronic Gulf, the Greeks once more faced a larger enemy force. The exact numbers are not clear, but a figure of 500 Persian ships against a Greek fleet of 300 seems the most likely estimate. The soldiers had won at Marathon. Now it was the turn of the trireme to take center stage. The fast and maneuverable Greek warship powered by 3 banks of oars and armed with a bronze ram. The Persians also had warships, but the Greeks had an ace up their sleeve, the great Athenian general Themistocles. He, with 20 years of experience and the confidence from his leadership at Artemisium, employed a bold plan to take the Persian fleet into the narrow straits of Salamis and hit the enemy fleet so hard it had nowhere to retreat to. Themistocles won a great victory, and the remaining Persian ships retreated to Asia Minor. Plataea. After Salamis, King Xerxes, Khashayar Shah, returned home to his palace at Susa, but he left General Mardonius in charge of the invasion. The Persian position remained strong despite the naval defeat. They still controlled much of Greece, and their large land army was intact. After a series of political negotiations, it was clear that the Persians would not gain victory on land through diplomacy, and the two armies faced at Plataea in Boeotia in August 479 BCE. The Greeks fielded the largest army ever seen, which came from some 30 city-states and numbered around 110,000. The Persians possessed a similar number of troops, perhaps slightly more, but, again, there are no exact figures agreed upon by scholars. Although cavalry and archers played their part, it was, once again, the superiority of the soldiers and phalanx which won the Greeks the battle. Finally, they had ended Xerxes' ambitions in Greece. The period after the Persian Wars saw internal conflicts and power struggles among the Greek city-states, particularly between Athens and Sparta, which led to the Peloponnesian War. We hope you have enjoyed watching the video. Thank you.